In this video, I'm going to do kind of a comprehensive review of a new client management system that is just for stationery designers called Vowproof. Let's just go ahead and dive in because there's so much to explore here. Okay, hi everyone. You probably know that I have educated on a lot of client management systems in the past. I'm really excited about this one because it was designed for stationers by stationers, and it was designed with specific stationery features in mind. So it's not like we're using a platform that was designed elsewhere for other people, for everyone, and trying to meet it to our needs. This was designed just for us, and you'll see some of the features that are just for us. So first and foremost, it does all of the things that a classic CRM is supposed to do. So if you're already using Dubsado, HoneyBook, 17 Hats, etc., then you'll see a lot of familiar stuff here. We do have kind of your inbox, your consultations that you can schedule. You can link your calendar, pipelines, which are showing, how your booking is going. You're going to be able to collect leads and manage client information. You're going to have your projects tab, very similar to a lot of the other systems. And you're going to have a client portal that, in my opinion, is a little bit better than some of the other systems. And then tools, you'll have proposals, proofs, templates, workflows, products, mood boards. So there's a few things on here that you haven't seen in other places. There's a few things that you might be used to, such as proposals and templates and workflows. So generally, if you're already doing something in another system, like the classic stuff, scheduling appointments, managing client information, taking payments, contracts, invoicing, all of those things can be done here. So I don't want to bog you down in that. We will have some other videos like featuring those specific things. I think I'll do a whole setup course on Vowproof eventually. But I want to show you some of the things that are new and different that you might not see in other systems that are so specific to stationery designers. So first of all, you might see this proofs tab, which is something you definitely haven't seen anywhere else. They've actually brought proofing into this platform, which I think is so cool. So on an individual project, you can upload a proof directly in here, PDF, JPEG, however you want it to look like. And then it's going to keep track of all the other versions as well. So if we were going to click on one of these proofs, we'll be able to see the proof that was uploaded, and you can actually map the different pieces of the proof or pages to different parts of the suite. So you can say, like, this is the invitation, this is the RSVP card, this is the envelope, etc. You can also add a questionnaire to your proof. So you can set up a questionnaire for an invitation suite. You can set up a questionnaire for a save the date, etc. That it's going to make sure you get all of the little pieces of information you need when collecting revisions on this proof. So if I look at the client page, any questionnaires that you have attached will be below the proofs. It'll say, make sure colors are correct, make sure your name's spelled correct, initial this, whatever. You can get all of that sign up and feedback that you need. They can also add a note just somewhere on here. So, hey, let's change the corner design to something more ornate. I'm putting that in the name column accidentally. That we broke, so she can save that there, and it will show me exactly where she pointed it. So it's very specific feedback here. You can also just approve the proof, or you can request changes here, describe whatever other changes, anything outside of the questionnaire you can put here, and then you can submit change requests. There's a lot of different ways your clients can provide feedback, and then you're going to receive all of that on the back end. It's going to show you the conversation about this proof all down here, any notes, approvals, comments, etc. You can even make internal notes if you need to do that for yourself or for your team. And then as you can see, there's 3 other versions. So I could look at these 3 different versions and see which ones, see anything that happened on the last proof if I need to. You can also customize your approval checklist. So you can make sure that you're getting all the information when they're ready to approve the proof. It's going to take them through that full checklist of are the names spelled correctly, confirm all the dates correct, etc. So any of those signups that you need, you can get here, and those are going to be time-stamped and valid. It's also going to have your invoice, your electronic signature, all of those things. So when they submit a proof, it's official. It's going to hold up in court if, God forbid, you ever have to go there. So I think it's really cool that you can add kind of the questionnaires if you want to ask specific feedback, but then if you think they're ready to approve, that approval will take care of all of your very specific terms and conditions. You may have seen that this says looking for older proofs, open your portal. I'm going to open this sample portal and show you what you can do. Something that I like about their portal is there's a lot that a client can actually do here. So there's questionnaires that they can fill out right here if they need to. They can look at all of their older proofs, see the comments that they've made, view the older ones, etc. There might be some documents here. If they need to send anything to me, they can upload a file, or if I need to send them anything, I can upload a file down here as well. Their timeline, which is something that I'll get to in a second, is right here. And then also their guest list is really fun. So they can add their guest list directly here in the portal, or they can upload a CSV or spreadsheet. There's a template here, but a lot of CSVs will work. They can just map names to name, address to address, etc. And then I'll show you something really cool that you can do in here with the guest list in a little bit. So the portal has a lot of interactive features, and it's not something that I've used a lot in Dubsado, which I've been using for a long time because it wasn't really that interactive. But this one actually has a lot of things they can do that are really helpful. So I could see myself actually starting to use the portal here. Now, in addition to the proofs, you'll see mood boards, which is really fun. So you can actually create your first mood board template here. You can say Brooks invitations, and then you might have a few different things here. Now you can add in your colors. Gold, sure. Let's add some blue. And then let's add some dark blue. We'll maybe pull some of this together. It's not my best color palette ever, but it works. And then you can add inspiration, like photos, typographies, you can link things. So there's just a lot of different things that you can do with the mood board, and then it will create a visual mood board that your client can see in their portal. Something that I love about Vowproof is that you can templatize everything. So for instance, if you're always using color palette, inspiration, typography, etc. as sections in your mood board, you can just make a template for that. So it's always going to come in as the same thing. And then you can just make the updates that you need to versus starting over from scratch. In the products tab, you can actually add individual products. So for instance, we have a 4x6 details card or a 5x7 flat invitation. You can see there's a lot of different things you can do here, such as changing the base price. It can be a per piece or a flat price. For instance, if it's like a letterpress upgrade or a licensing fee, it can be flat price. You can even put in a die cut shape. You can put in different sizes. So that can help you kind of search by sizes, paper stock, and you can set an income category or a timeline category. And I'll go over timelines in a second. You can even show a picture of what that product's going to look like here. And then from there, so this is kind of like packages if you've used packages in other platforms, but you're just adding individual products. And then you can actually add a suite template, such as this is the classic suite, wedding suite. It's got one 5x7 invitation, one RSVP card, details card, outer, and RSVP envelope. So we've got our suite total quantity at 100. And then if you wanted to go create a proposal with this classic wedding suite, it would be really easy to do that. You can also add additional suites in here. So if you have 3 different tiers, you can add those really easily to your invoices and proposals. Now in your template section, you'll see a lot of things that you might be familiar with, like contracts or questionnaires. Email templates are in here as well, but I really like the timeline templates. So this is something you can set for all of your different products. If you have logo design, invitation design, etc., you can set different milestones. And even like on this one, you have wedding, and then this sample is also for letterpress. You have a different one for save the dates, bar bat mitzvah, corporate event, etc. So let's look at the wedding timeline and just see how that is. So the rush threshold is 8 weeks. So for further than 8 weeks or closer than 8 weeks, that qualifies it automatically as a rush. And you can, I think you can actually add automatic rush fees in there too. But these are all the different things that you can do, and it's whether the studio is doing them or the client is doing them. So we're sending the proof, we're approving the save the dates, mailing the save the dates, sending the invitation proof, approving that, etc. RSVP deadlines on here, all of the things for day of is on here. So there's a lot of different things, like final guest count is due, delivering the place cards, etc. And what's really cool about these different timelines is once you apply them to a job, you can actually use them in a workflow. So when I am creating a workflow, for instance, I can do it based on the save the date mailing date, as opposed to having to calculate how far back from the event something is happening. So if I wanted to create an email that sends right before we mail out the save the dates or right after we mail out the save the dates, I can do that. And I don't have to calculate, oh, okay, well, we mailed them 150 days before the event, and then we did this, and then we did this, etc. So I think these are really cool. And then you can have them for different things. For instance, letterpress is going to take a little bit longer. The rush threshold is 2 weeks longer. So all of those things are fully customizable, and then you can apply whichever template you want to any of the different projects. So if I want to add a timeline here into this job, I'm going to calculate the timeline, click which one I want. I'll do the standard wedding one. And then we have the booking date here, and I'll calculate out what that looks like. And we've generated 19 calendar milestones. The rush date, the mail date is too close to the event date because the event date is May 30th. So expedited production may be needed. This is so helpful, I think, this little reminder. So it's telling me exactly what I need to do. I also can filter it by what I need to do versus what the client needs to do, sort by date, all of those kind of things. And then once I've added the timeline on the back end in their portal, the client will be able to see exactly where everything is. These are all of their tasks here for the client that they need to do and what date they need to do that. And I didn't have to calculate any of that. That was all done by my template. Okay, and the last thing that I want to show you that I'm really excited about is this guest list tab. So the client will be able to upload their guest list directly in their portal. I think I showed you that already. But what I didn't show you is that they will actually be able to preview all of their envelopes here. And then if they click on all of them, they can see exactly what it's going to look like. They can also go down and make any changes that they need to as well. For instance, for Alexander Lee, Washington Lane is capitalized and it shouldn't be. So they can make that edit here. And then who's that? Alexander Lee. We can see the edit was made right here. So how do we get this little preview up? Basically, when you go into your work order, which is where you put all the proofs for this project, there's an envelopes tab, and you'll be able to make a lot of different edits here. So first of all, we have outer and inner envelopes. We're just going to focus on the outers right now. And you can see I can scroll through and see exactly what each envelope is going to look like. I can change to add the return address. So I currently don't have the return address, but I can show it on the back flap or on the top left corner. If I have the back flap, I just go to back flap and it's going to show that return address. I can upload an image that I want for the return address instead. So if I want to do, I like to do like a round return address. I can always do that here. You can change the envelope size and then you can change the fonts, and you can actually upload fonts in the settings of Vowproof. So as you can see, this is my custom font, Picket Fence. This is actually a font that I designed and we're using it for the names here. You can change like the name size, the address size, the return address size. You can change spacing on all of this. And you can also change kind of the formatting that you want to use for the outer and envelope and inner envelopes. So once I've got this to where I want it to be, all I have to do is save the settings. And then below here is all of the envelopes, so I can go through and change them if I need to. For instance, this is not capitalized in the zip code, so I could just click edit right here or go down to that bottom part and capitalize this zip code. If I decide I want to share this with a client, I'll toggle this share envelope preview with clients on. And then once I've saved that setting, they'll be able to view it in their portal just like I showed you. And then what's really cool, you see this download PDF. Once either I or the client has gone through and approved all the envelopes, so they can approve, I've reviewed them and confirm they're correct. They can approve that here. Once they've done that, or I've done it down here, you can see all of these. This is my like fake ChatGPT address list. It's going to generate a print ready PDF for your envelopes. So I'm obsessed with this. I don't think it's going to take over every single case in the entire world. For instance, it's all, it's all black text at this point, and you're a little bit limited on fonts and uploads. You can't change like an individual glyph in a font or something like that. But I think this is going to serve a lot of purposes. And if you kind of streamline your address offerings to fit things that will fit here in Vowproof, then you don't even have to do the mail merge anymore. You can just generate the printable PDF directly from this file, and the client can do all of the editing, all of the previewing. You don't have to provide any of that to them. So obsessed with this option. I think it's going to be a real game changer, and I'm really excited about this specific feature. Okay, I feel like This was a little bit longer than some of my other reviews because I wanted to show you those very specific stationery features. And I also skipped over a lot of the classic features of like how you add a job and send an invoice and a contract, etc. I think a lot of us are familiar with how to do those in other systems, and it's going to be very similar here. I'll have some other videos in the future. Let me know if there's any specific features that you want me to explore. I wanted to show you everything that is just specific to stationery designers because I think that's where Vowproof really sets itself apart from anything else out there. And I, as a stationery designer, am just so excited about this, so excited to introduce you to it. And of course, you can get 20% off your first year with my link or code, which I'm going to put in the description of this video. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think. If you're going to maybe try this out, take a look. You can check out a free trial for a couple weeks and tell me how it's feeling to you. I really, truly want to know because I am so excited about this being a new stationery specific CRM on the market. I can't wait to see how you feel about it and what questions you have and any features that you would like me to explore a little bit further. Thanks, everybody.